UFC Freedom 250 just wrapped up last night, and I could recap the whole card, and it could take hours to talk about the whole card because the event was fantastic, top to bottom. 7 fights, 7 finishes. Today, though, we're just going to be touching on the main and co-main event because 2 massive fight results. I personally owe an apology to Justin Gaethje after the performance that he was able to put on against Ilia Topuria. Massive upset. Definitely the biggest upset I've ever seen as a UFC fan. Probably the biggest upset in UFC history. I know we've been having some massive upsets lately. We just had Strickland Chimaev, but I feel like this is a much bigger upset simply because with Sean Strickland, there was a clear path to victory. Stuff the takedowns, strike with him on the feet. This fight, I was convinced, the striking, the grappling, there's no real area for Gaethje to win, but he was able to mess up Justin Gaethje. I mean, Justin Gaethje was able to mess up Ilia Topuria on the feet badly. And I'm going to break down why and how he was able to do that, as well as Alex Pereira unfortunately loses to this French cheat, terrorist of the sport, Cyril Gane. So, honestly, it would have been better if Ilia and Alex won just because it's 2 superstars for the UFC, and both of these guys are massive names. And now they lost all their momentum, all of their aura. So that's quite unfortunate. But we're going to still break it down. And at the end of the day, let's get into the video. Okay, Justin Gaethje able to basically swell up Ilia Topuria's entire face with shots, and it was honestly a terrible game plan from Ilia coming in. I still think Ilia has potential to go down as one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen, but that game plan was not very smart. He just walking forward right into Justin Gaethje's jabs, and it was the jabs at the end of the day that started the swelling and the cuts. Ilia even said himself he couldn't see out of his left eye in the first round, couldn't see out of his right eye after the second round. The second round is really where the only time I feel like we saw vintage Ilia Topuria, where he was ripping vicious shots to the body, vicious combinations. But Gaethje, the difference between Gaethje and all the other opponents that Topuria fought, for one, you can take a look at Volk and Max, who are fighters who like to fight off of the back foot and are very good boxers, very good strikers, but don't present too much of a knockout threat. Max and Volk are more like a cumulative kind of strikers if they're going to put damage on you. Now, Oliveira was a knockout puncher, and he is probably the hardest puncher in that division. But the thing is, Oliveira only has one movement with his striking. It's forward, a Muay Thai stance where he's very upright. His hands are here, and his chin is up in the air to be hit, and he throws, and he gets clipped, and he gets hit in pretty much every single one of his fights. I mean, we saw even though Oliveira destroyed Gaethje, Gaethje dropped him twice bad, and Gaethje hits like an absolute truck. He game planned very well for this fight. I gotta say, my buddy Sebastian called it perfectly, where he said, dude, he could be clipping Topuria, because Topuria, every time they get in close, Topuria likes to dip. Gaethje would go with that left hook, collar tie around the back of the head, and hit him with an uppercut, and he hit him with probably about 10 to 20 of those in the whole fight. Yeah, man, obviously I wanted to see Topuria win just so we had this, like, awesome lightweight champion who was, got this undefeated aura, could go down as one of the greatest of all time. But Justin Gaethje, I mean, he really just solidified his career as a legendary career. He is truly one of the greatest fighters of all time. I don't know if he's top 10 at this point, but he's probably a top 15 fighter of all time, or just outside of the top 15. And he's the lightweight champion of the world. And he's one of the older guys to do it in the smaller weight classes. I think, honestly, him and Volk are the only 2 fighters after 35 to win a belt, 170 pounds or lighter, past the age of 35. So, yeah, Justin Gaethje, man. What a performance. Beautiful performance. He cracked Ilia Sora. I gotta say, Ilia's got a chin. Just a terrible, terrible game plan. was just walking right into the jabs and got chewed up, and Gaethje landed some bombs on him. So, yeah, I don't know what's next for Gaethje. Gaethje versus Saryukin, Gaethje versus Oliveira 2, Gaethje versus Topuria 2. But Topuria's going to need some time off. So he should definitely take his time to recover and come back. Maybe we run Topuria versus Pimlet would be interesting. There's a variety of options. We'll just have to see how the rest of the division shakes out and plays out. But yeah, that's the main event. The co-main event, Alex Pereira loses to Ciryl Gane. He gets TKO'd. I'll tell you what, Ciryl Gane won this fight, right? Obviously. And we're going to get Gane versus Aspinall too, which is, we'll be excited for that fight. But I swear, Ciryl Gane is the biggest cheat in all of MMA. He never just has a clean win or a clean finish. There's always something, always an eye poke, always back of the head shots, whatever it is. Nut shots. He even hit Jones with a nut shot before he got submitted. But this guy, right? Of course he loses to Ngannou and Jones, who are no longer in the UFC. So it's a bad look if he's able to win. It's like, okay, these two guys who aren't even competing in your company anymore, he lost to. Right? But he's a sick striker. He is so sick. He's got a great jab, great movement. I thought Pereira would be able to survive early on and wear him down, but getting hit at heavyweight clean is a lot different than getting hit by these 205ers and these 85ers, man. You just cannot take clean shots from heavyweights, especially super skilled heavyweights like this. And Pereira, is devastating as his left hook is, he's not some slick boxer. He stands there with his hands up and he doesn't really move his head a lot. You can get through if you're, a slick boxer. And we saw that in the first Magomed Ankalaev fight, Pereira get outboxed. But in the second fight with Ankalaev, he was able to just pressure him, chew his legs up, and kind of just startle him and rattle him right away and get the finish. But in this fight, we kind of saw Ciryl Gane just systematically kind of break down Alex Pereira. And it's sad to see, man. I was really hoping to see Alex Pereira, complete the storyline and get the 3-weight world championship status. But, yeah, no, not tonight. At this point, we're going to get Gane versus Aspinall too. And hopefully it doesn't end in another eye poke. Me and my buddies were watching this fight, and we're freeze framing it. We cut it down frame by frame. We counted 12 back of the head shots that this freaking guy landed out of the 25 ground and pound that he threw. It's like every other shot was to the back of the head from this guy. So, but Pereira, I think honestly should stay at heavyweight. His legacy at 205, he should leave untarnished. He should leave exactly as it is and make another push towards the heavyweight title. Maybe what we could do with Pereira, do Pereira versus Hokit. Honestly, it makes sense. Hokit, number 5 in the world, coming off of a big win. I say it makes sense, man. Let's run that fight. But yeah, overall, like I said, I was a bit disappointed to see some of the sport's most exciting fighters lose, but still taking my bias out of it, this was a badass card top to bottom. And you cannot take that away from Gaethje, from Ciryl Gane, even though he cheated. O'Malley with an amazing performance. Hokit, amazing performance. Rufy just butchered Michael Chandler. Bo Nickel, you got to win. You got to knock out. First round knockout. You can't really talk too much shit, but it was a little bit boring early. And then Diego Lopez struggles early with Steve Garcia and ends up getting that knockout. So good stuff from all the fighters who won. And yeah, man, I hope Ilya comes back strong. I think stylistically he matches up pretty well with the rest of the division. I just think Gaethje is such a tricky matchup because he's longer and taller than Topuria, and he can fight going forwards, going backwards, and he hits like an absolute truck. And Topuria loves to dip, and he's going, face first in those uppercuts, wasn't moving laterally, getting off the center line. He was just eating too many jabs. So that's pretty much the story of the night, if we're just really diving into these this main and co-main event. So anyways, those are my thoughts. Those are my opinions on the fights. If you agree, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.